he started dating a woman who Bobbie says physically abused him. He was placed in a foster home in the Houston area, and 8 months later, he was put in the care of his uncle, L.V. Miles, in Odessa, Texas. The two started.
So basically, stop right there. From the age of 3.
It was already.
From the age of 3, he's been going through so much shit.
Right.
He's already been damaged. He's been damaged at 4, 5. This dude went from foster homes. His mama left him with the grandmother. Mm-hmm. Then the grandmother left him.
Right.
How many times you gonna keep getting left? So the fact that woman was trying to leave, that's what made him snap.
Well, he said he told her to get out. Now, this is in the story.
Of course, that's what he's saying.
Right. So it says that this protective order, it says, I was getting ready to go into that after they talk about the drug possession and all the priors. While combing through Miles's history, which included 8 convictions, officers learned that the victim was the subject of a protective order aimed at keeping Miles away. So they got a protective order. They so-called are working this out. That's why she's at the house, right? So she got in the house. So something was okay enough to get in the house, right? So somewhere in this conversation, the shit goes left. Over. Right, the shit goes left, right? So it says that once the investigators approached the home, Miles refused to answer the door or exit the residence. Additional units arrived at the scene, and Miles was eventually taken in custody with the help of K-9. Once Miles was in custody, officers searched the home, and that's when they found more than 7 ounces of marijuana, as well as the gun cleaning.
You gotta slow it down for my people, because you read a little fast. Oh. You gotta slow it down. Not everybody can catch on so quick like that. So
I'll start from here. It says, once Miles was in custody, officers searched the home and said they found more than 7 ounces of marijuana, as well as a gun cleaning kit and bullets. According to an affidavit, Miles said he used the marijuana legally for knee pain. However, investigators said the drug was packaged in 18 individual bags for distribution. Back at the hospital, officers spoke with the victim, who was trying to work things out with Miles when he asked her to leave his home. She said Miles threw her on the bed and began choking her nearly to the point of passing out. The woman says she began losing her vision as well. So Miles reportedly told the victim she was faking. And when he hit her on the side of the face as he pushed her out of the home, while she prayed for help, because she thought he was gonna kill him. He asked her to leave, and she probably like, no, I thought we was working this out. It goes awry. He starts choking her to the point she passes out, loses vision. And he was like, oh, you're just faking it. Trying to brush it off. You're faking it. Then he hit her on the side of the face and pushed her out of the home. The victim said once she got outside, she began to feel wobbly. She said she remembered starting her vehicle before getting dizzy, hitting the curb, and passed out. So that's why she was in the middle of the street. She comes up out of the house. She don't feel good. She starts the car, and that's when she 100% her body collapses, and she's left in the middle of the street. He was arrested and charged with assault by impeding breath and failure to comply with the protective order in connection with the March arrest. So he choked her out. And he didn't care nothing about her because he wanted her to leave. So after he hits her in the face, chokes her out, she gets out the door. He's pushing her out the door. She gets out the door, gets to the car. She thinks she could drive away. She passes out and collapses. This nigga, the door is closed. He's in the house. So as far as he's probably concerned, she's gone.
So he thought she was dead at the time.
Or go somewhere. She ain't at the house because she closes the door. She gets in the car to drive away. She hits the curb because that's why the car was partially out into the street.
Oh, so
she comes out of the house.
So she actually drove away.
The fight takes place in the house. He's punching her face, choking her. He's pushing her out the house. So she's praying like, thank God I'm able to get up out the house. She gets in her car, turns on the car, tries to drive away. She passes out. She hits the curb. I guess you know how you're getting ready to pass out. You're not for sure. And that's how the car got into the center of the street, because she passed out in the center of the street.
So if she would have never passed out, he wouldn't even be in jail right now. See, Or was she trying to help him? Because
who knows? The protective order was with them too. They're working it out. Now you're back in the house. So
that's why I say you got to take some.
You got to be careful.
What you listen, no, you got to also take things with a grain of salt, because she could say at the scene of the crime, oh, I passed out and da 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 da, and when I was driving away, because sometimes you try to minimize. You see what I'm saying? I still love you. I don't want to see you go to jail, go to prison, so you try to minimize this.
She called 911 before she passed out. That's why 911 was like, get over there immediately, because we attempted to call her back with no response.
But you see, this is what I'm saying though. This is where I'm saying it don't make sense now. Peep game. You call 911, 911 is coming to the scene, right? Why would you be trying to leave the scene?
I guess she called from the car. The call was from the car. They approached the car first to try to wake her up. The 911 officer said, hey, the call came in, we spoke, but all we could hear is short breaths. So she's probably in the car trying to call 911, pass it the fuck out. They can't call her back. So when the officers get there, they're trying to wake her up. She doesn't wake up. She's unresponsive for a while. When she comes to, they can't even talk to her because
she's been choked.
Right, she's been choked. Right. So a fight happened in the house. He done fucked her up. She's been choked.
Or it could have happened in the car too.
Well, she's saying it was in the house because he threw her on the bed. She didn't think she was going to get out. That's why they said when he was pushing her out the door, she said to the officer, she was praying like, thank God. Probably gets in the car, trying to hurry up and call 911, because she said when she got out the door, her body felt wobbly. She got in the car. This is what she told me.
Because he was choking her.
Right. So shortness of breath. So now the adrenaline, you get up, you get outside, you're wobbly, you get in the car. I'm calling 911. Fuck this. Da, 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 and she is starting to pass out. She's blacking out at this point. Hence why the car is she's in drive. She said she was able to get in the car.
Now, she was in violation of her protection order.
She was in violation because she's supposed to be staying away from this man for probably the same shit. So I don't know why you're trying to work it out with a person that you got the protective.
Now, he fucked up because if he would have had a good lawyer, he was supposed to say, she attacked me and I was trying to defend myself.
Right.
That's it. If he had a good lawyer, that's what he was supposed to say. A good lawyer would have helped you out, Bobbie, because you could have been like, she violated protection order, came to the house, and she snapped.
Right, because she does mention that he asked her to leave the home. But the reason why she was there in the first place is because they were supposed to be working it out. But, according to the law, this is why you guys are not supposed to be working it out. Or we have a protection order because of this is probably not the first time. You get what I'm saying? So definitely not the first time, because the protective order is one of them is with her. So it's a shame. So she could have lost her life behind this.
So read his childhood background again, because now we know why he has so much trauma in his life, why he snaps when he think he's about to lose something. See, a person that's been disconnected from fatherhood, motherhood, they have abandonment issues. And when you have abandonment issues, the last thing you want to hear is you losing something else. Oh, I'm about to lose my girl. I'm going to lose my ex-wife. They don't want that. Everybody been running out on me. My grandmama left me. I was adopted. You snapped.
Right, because like I said, she got through the door. So obviously she didn't kick it in. You let her come in. Mm-hmm. Conversation probably went sideways. It wasn't going to, she probably said, okay, see, this is the same thing that I was talking about the last time. You still yelling and screaming. And then, well, you know what, get the fuck. You know how things escalate? You know what I'm saying? Now it's to physical violence. But obviously the conversation started with them trying to work it out. That's how she got inside of the house and got over there. It starts from his early life. It says Miles was born at St. Luke's Hospital in Houston with a police escort April 16th of 1970.
So Bobbie Miles is from Houston now. He's not from Odessa, Permian. Mm-hmm. So all you people that was trying to take credit for Bobbie Miles, he's a Houston native. Bobbie Miles is from Houston.
Right. So it says he lived with his parents until he was 3, when his mother left him with his maternal grandmother in Houston and moved permanently to Oklahoma without him. So at 3 years old, his mom left him with the grandma and left permanently. She didn't come back. So that's already abandonment number 1. Around the age of 5, Miles went to live with his father, James Sr. So now at 3, you've been living with your grandma. Your mom has already left you. Children feel these emotional disconnects and changes as well. You're living with your grandmother. It doesn't go into what type of relationship he had with her or if it was a good environment, because by 5, he goes to live with his father, James Sr. The elder Miles, he was worked 2 jobs. He was a truck driver and printing plant laborer. So he worked a lot and left Miles lonely most of the time. So his father lost custody of Bobbie when he started dating a woman. The woman who Bobbie says physically abused him. So now at 5,
and we know physically abuse. It could be also sexually. We don't know. Sometimes you could be sexually abused too at a young age. And this is where he could have got his ways from. That's how he caught his rape charge in 99. Let's go. Keep going.
So he was placed in a foster home. So after he leaves out of his dad's home, he gets with his dad when he's 5, right? He's living with his dad. Dad works all the time. He's a kid in the house by himself. But dad has time for a girlfriend. And the girlfriend is abusive to me. Why? Because she probably don't want you around. Takes away from the time that she has to want, with him working. You know what I'm saying? So she's abusive to the kid. So he loses custody of Bobbie, and he's placed in foster home in Houston area. And 8 months later, he was put in the care of his uncle, who was in Odessa. And then they shared the house with his wife, Ruby.
That's the one that was in the
daughter.
That was the one that was in the movie.
Right, getting him into football. Possibly at this point, you see this boy is older, his background. Because remember, don't the movie, his uncle is in the office talking to coach, right? In the beginning movie. And
he's like, I got my nephew, he good. He one of the best, yeah.
Right, so he's advocating for his nephew. He's probably seen this.
But this explains why he was so arrogant. This explains why nobody liked him, his attitude, because he's already misplaced. He's angry. He came to Odessa angry, misplaced. So football was the best thing for him.
And probably being that his uncle, I don't take that away from the movie, because I do think if he was trying to get him into school, he was trying to, however he had to do it, he was trying to get this boy together, right? Because ain't nobody else doing it. So now you got him on the football team. You're trying to talk to coaches. Somebody's got your best interest. Boom. Life looks glorious at this point. While you're arrogant, this is the best time of your life. Now, I understand, when children are going through and they don't have stable homes and they're able to get into something that shines the light on them. You love it. Bam. He gets hit with a knee injury. This is going to end his career. We watched the heartbreak.
Now look, you know what's heartbreaking? Because now after knowing his backstory, what's heartbreaking now is, I remember in the movie when he sat there and said, "No, you can't take football from me." He tried.
What we gonna do now?
What we gonna do now?
Because they don't love me. They're not. He went through that. His uncle sits there in the movie.
Nobody,
because he didn't have emotion.
But we didn't know at the time, and this is what the movie didn't tell us. Yeah. See, and I wish the movie would have gave his backstory. They didn't tell us he was adopted. They didn't tell us that he was abused as a kid.
Because the movie was Friday Night Lights.
But it would have been so much